Your politeness is not virtue, it's a leash. Every respectful habit you defend broadcasts submission, inviting predators to manage you, extract value, then discard you. Chapter 1. The Politeness Lie. Shatter the moral frame that equates respect with authority. Rewire the viewer's lens so good behavior is seen as a control mechanism, not a virtue. Chapter 2. How authority is actually measured. Expose the hidden psychological metrics humans use to rank power: boundaries, consequence, and asymmetry. Replace surface manners with dominant signals that operate beneath language. Chapter 3. The Respect Traps. Behavioral Archetypes. Identify repeatable, respectful patterns that reliably destroy leverage. Assign names to these archetypes so the viewer can no longer hide inside them. Chapter 4. Why Predators Love Respectful Men. Deepen the threat by showing how institutions, co-workers, partners, and rivals exploit these behaviors. Anchor the danger in history, hierarchy, and immutable human nature. Chapter 5. Surgical Elimination and Behavioral Recode. Introduce a ruthless behavior shift: what to cut, what to replace, and how to signal consequence without noise. Train cold restraint and selective aggression. Chapter 6. The Death of the Respect-Seeking Identity. Force an identity collapse. The good man persona must die. Install a sovereignty-first identity built on leverage, scarcity, and controlled indifference. Chapter 7. Final warning: selection is ongoing. Deliver a closing threat and elite call to action. Remind the viewer that authority decays without vigilance, and that respectful men are always first to be selected against. Chapter 1. The Politeness Lie. Respect was never designed to give you authority. It was designed to keep systems stable, to reduce friction, to make compliant men predictable. You were taught politeness as morality because morality is the cleanest disguise for control. Authority does not emerge from how agreeable you appear. It emerges from how costly it is to violate you. The world does not scan for kindness, it scans for consequence. And when your behavior consistently signals restraint without retaliation, the environment recalibrates around you. You become safe to interrupt, safe to delay, safe to exploit. Politeness is not neutral, it is a broadcast. Every unnecessary apology, every softened demand, every time you defer to avoid tension, you are sending a signal: I will absorb pressure to preserve harmony. That signal doesn't inspire respect, it invites management. Here is the inversion you were never taught. In human hierarchies, good behavior is often weakness mislabeled as virtue. Not because kindness is evil, but because kindness without leverage is surrender. Predators do not fear respectful men, they rely on them. Organizations promote them sideways. Partners test them endlessly. Rivals extract value from them until nothing remains. You assume respect is earned by being fair. The system measures respect by asymmetry. Who speaks last? Who waits? Who adjusts? Who absorbs loss to keep things smooth? Authority flows toward the individual who creates tension and survives it, not the one who dissolves it preemptively. Watch how power actually moves. The man who interrupts and is not punished gains altitude. The man who says no without justification forces recalculation. The man who withholds emotional labor creates scarcity. None of this is polite. All of it is respected. Politeness is a lubricant for other people's agendas. It keeps you agreeable while decisions happen above you. It trains you to confuse being liked with being untouchable.
But likability is cheap. Everyone likes a man they can control. This is why your respectful habits are so dangerous. They feel righteous. They let you believe you are superior while losing ground. You mistake internal moral comfort for external authority. Meanwhile, the hierarchy is forming without your consent. Look closer and you'll see the pattern everywhere. The most deferential man is burdened with the most work. The most patient man waits the longest. The most understanding man is told to understand a little more. Respect, when unarmed, becomes an extraction protocol. You were never meant to be rude. You were meant to be sovereign. Sovereignty is not loud. It is not cruel. It is controlled consequence. It is the quiet certainty that your boundaries are real and violations are expensive. Politeness teaches you to negotiate against yourself before anyone else has to. Authority requires the opposite posture. Stillness under tension, silence where others would explain, refusal without theatrics. You do not rush to reassure. You let discomfort do its work. This chapter is not asking you to become hostile. It is stripping you of a lie. The lie that respect is given to those who behave well. In reality, respect is allocated to those who alter outcomes. Once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Every interaction becomes diagnostic. Who adapts first? Who fills the silence? Who softens their position to keep the peace? The man who moves first loses leverage. Politeness is not evil, but in a world of selection, it must be weaponized or eliminated. Otherwise, it will be used against you by people who understand power instinctively, even if they cannot articulate it. This is the lens shift, from morality to mechanics, from intention to effect, from being good to being unmanageable. And once the lens changes, your old behaviors will start to look suicidal.
Chapter 2. How Authority is Actually Measured. Authority is not voted on. It is calculated, instantly, subconsciously, brutally. Every room you enter runs a silent audit on you, not on your values, not on your effort, but on your cost. Humans are pattern recognition machines built for hierarchy. Long before laws, titles, or ethics, survival depended on knowing one thing: who can I pressure and who will pressure back? That question never left the nervous system. It just learned to wear suits. Authority is measured through 3 invisible metrics: boundaries, consequences, and asymmetry. Miss even one, and you are downgraded. First, boundaries. Not the boundaries you explain, the boundaries you enforce without discussion. The moment you justify a boundary, you signal that it is negotiable. The system hears hesitation, not principle. Powerful men do not debate their limits. They let reality teach. Second, consequences. Not threats, not anger. Consequences are calm, delayed, and disproportionate. When someone crosses you and nothing happens, the system logs it. When they cross you and life subtly worsens for them, access reduced, cooperation withdrawn, opportunity removed, the system updates. Authority is memory-based. People remember who costs them something. Third, asymmetry. Who needs who more? Who invests more? Who adapts more? Authority always flows toward the man who can walk away first. This is why politeness kills power. It over-invests. It equalizes when inequality would protect you. It gives before it verifies. Here is the brutal truth. People do not respect fairness. They respect leverage. Fairness is something you offer after authority is established, not before. When you lead with fairness, you are offering concessions without proof of force. Watch high-status men closely. They are not chaotic. They are selective.
They respond slowly. They do not rush to repair emotional breaches. Silence is one of their primary tools, not because they are unsure, but because silence forces others to reveal their position. Contrast this with the respectful man. He fills gaps, he clarifies intentions, he smooths misunderstandings, he explains himself into subordination. The system reads this as over-availability. Over-availability destroys perceived value. Authority is also measured by who absorbs friction. If you are always the one adjusting your schedule, your tone, your expectations, you are signaling that stability matters more to you than position. The hierarchy thanks you by placing weight on your shoulders. This is why saying it's okay when it's not okay is lethal. You are training people how to treat you cheaply. Every unchallenged violation becomes precedent, and precedent is law in human systems. Understand this clearly. People do not push boundaries randomly. They probe. Light pressure first, a late reply, a small disrespect, an unreasonable ask. If nothing happens, they escalate, not because they are evil, but because the environment permits it. Authority halts escalation early, quietly, without emotion. Another metric is who controls the tempo. Fast responders are reactive. Slow responders are processing or uninterested. Tempo control signals dominance. When you let others rush you, you hand them the frame. This is why powerful men appear cold. They are not cold. They are unhurried. Urgency is the language of need. Authority has time. You were taught that respect comes from being reasonable. Reasonable men are managed. Authority comes from being predictably costly to disrespect. Once you internalize this, your behavior shifts automatically. You stop performing decency. You start enforcing structure. You stop asking to be understood. You let outcomes speak. The hierarchy is not moral. It is mechanical. And it is always watching.
Chapter 3: The Respect Traps, Behavioral Archetypes. Once politeness replaces authority, the system assigns you a role, not consciously, structurally. Human hierarchies sort men the way ecosystems sort animals, by usefulness, compliance, and resistance. Respectful behaviors are not interpreted as character, they are interpreted as function. These are the most common respect traps. They repeat everywhere because they work. The appeaser. This man believes harmony is power. He smooths tension before it crystallizes. He offers concessions early to avoid conflict later. He thinks this makes him mature. In reality, it marks him as absorbent. The appeaser becomes the emotional shock absorber for the group. Problems are routed to him because he will not push back. He is thanked, then overused, then ignored. The explainer. This man believes clarity earns respect. He over-communicates his intentions. He justifies his decisions. He provides context no one asked for. Each explanation weakens his position because it invites evaluation. Authority does not explain itself. It states and moves on. The explainer teaches others that his decisions are provisional. The reliable mule. This man prides himself on consistency. He always shows up, always delivers, always says yes this one time. The system learns that he will carry weight without complaint. Reliability without scarcity turns you into infrastructure. Infrastructure is maintained, not respected. The understanding one. This man is endlessly empathetic. He sees everyone's perspective. He forgives quickly. He believes moral superiority will protect him. Instead, it disarms him. Forgiveness without consequence is permission. The understanding one becomes the ideal target for boundary violations because he reframes disrespect as misunderstanding. The permission seeker.
This man asks before acting, even when authority has already been granted. He wants consensus. He wants approval. He signals dependency. The hierarchy downgrades him because leadership requires unilateral motion. Permission seekers are never seen as threats, and threats are the currency of respect. The polite dissenter. This man disagrees softly. He hedges his language. He prefaces objections with praise. He thinks this makes him sophisticated. It makes him ignorable. Soft disagreement is treated as noise. If your no can be overridden without cost, it will be. Notice the pattern. None of these men are stupid. None are malicious. Most are competent. That is why they are so valuable and so disposable. The system exploits them because it can. Each archetype shares a fatal flaw. They trade leverage for comfort. They reduce friction before it produces advantage. They solve problems that would have elevated them had they let tension do its work. Predators recognize these types instantly, not through words, but through posture, timing, and reaction speed. The appeaser rushes to de-escalate. The explainer fills silence. The reliable mule never declines. These are not moral traits, they are tells. And once a tell is identified, behavior adjusts around it. Requests become demands. Boundaries become suggestions. Respect becomes conditional. This is why respectful men often feel invisible despite doing everything right. They are performing behaviors designed for submission in environments that reward dominance. The hierarchy does not punish them openly, it simply caps them. No promotion beyond usefulness, no loyalty beyond convenience, no protection when pressure rises. The most dangerous part? These archetypes feel like identity. Men defend them, they moralize them, they call them values. In truth, they are survival strategies learned in low-risk environments and carried into high-stakes ones where they fail catastrophically. If you see yourself in more than one of these, that is not coincidence. They cluster. Politeness is not a single behavior. It is a system, and systems must be dismantled as systems.